All right, let's get this going. Good morning. All right, let's take a quick look here. We have been testing this 30,000 level here all evening. Globex session opened up. They made an attempt here. Reclaim, sellers fell below 30,000. We had price run back up. We got some resistance here at the GEX 3 level, 150s. Actually ran all the way up to our one-day mid. Let's see what happens here. Where's our settlement price? All right, settlement. We're right at settlement 52. Market just opened up. And let's take a look here how things begin to. It's about to open up here in about 2 minutes. Let's see how we begin to interact here with 30,000 in settlement. We've been compressing, going sideways here at 8:30. We also have the JOLTS report at 10 a.m., something to keep in mind. So we'll see. Usually by 9:45, 9:50, we start seeing price go into a consolidation. So we may end up being in a situation where things aren't, crystal clear here at the open. We end up having to wait till after JOLTS. So we'll see what happens there. All right, got 30 seconds here. All right, got a nice little push here. Let's see here. We're going to approach 30,100s. So there's a big recovery there off the 30,000 level. Price attempted to trade through that 30,000, failed to do so. Continue to observe here. We start approaching 30,000 150s. We're approaching our first GEX level here at 30,150. Let's see what happens. We get some type of reaction. For maybe a possible rotation back down to 100s for a quick test. Boom. There you go. Quick scalp there. There's the buyer stepping right back in there at 100s. So our immediate overhead draw would be our overnight high, 30,217s. So we'll see if that's where price is going to be looking towards. The 200s, 217s, that area up above. We are beginning to consolidate a little bit here. Let's see. They are holding it up though. They're propping at 150, so we'll see if they're going to be able to break through it. Yes, Vega is in action. We're still trading it, so we're just right now kind of using the stream, to be honest, to see to train it and use it and figure out kind of like the best format. But it's telling us right now that buyers, we know buyers are broken above the 150 level. These are our key levels that we're watching. The IB is going to be from the prior, I guess it's the current, it's technically the first, the first, it's not official yet, right? It's a developing IB. And so right now we're just waiting to see if they can hold above 75s. And just got to wait. We'll see if anything interesting happens here. So far, it's just the buyers have taken 150. And first 5 minute candle's about to close here. We'll see if they're going to pump through our overnight high. There's the overnight high. He just took it out. Okay, we're at a major quarter level here, 250s. This is where overnight we sort of kind of hesitating here. Go to an hourly chart. Let's take a look at that hourly chart real quick. So hourly chart, we could see this is where we had on June 25th, this reaction off to 30,250 level led to this dump. Now, if we begin to start breaking through, closing above, obviously we have news here in about 45 minutes or 30 minutes, give or take. That's going to be the catalyst to determine where we drive. Are we driving up to 500s or driving back down to 3000s? That's going to be the main question. Take the scalp here real quick. Let's see if we can get some type of reaction off this major quarter level here. They're still holding it up. Cut that trade. Some offers right above 70s. And we're approaching our red lug level here at 30,000, 292s. No, it's actually plotted by my indicator liquidity levels. So it pulls our level 2, throws it onto the chart visually. And we can use that. And it actually does read into Vega. So inside Vega, it'll actually recognize, like right now, saying liquidity close through offer 30,250, right? So we're seeing that. Nice dump there. Nice dump. Let's see if they're going to be able to, the buyers are going to be able to support this here at 200s. Probably get a nice little pullback. So that initial prime short signal came in. I cut the trade just in case it ended up ripping higher. Obviously we're kind of trading against a momentum flow. So, when we begin to start seeing some failure, then of course that can give us way better edge with taking the prime short signals. So let's see what happens here at 200s. If they're going to support price here. That was a nice failure off the 250. So they did a nice little double top. And then we can even see that we had a trap buyer here, 107 contracts, started buying at the highs. We'll just continue to observe what happens here. I'm just waiting to see if they get a closure, 5-minute closure. Actually, we did get a closure above the 175, 15-minute here. Just waiting to see how this is going to close. Now I'll be getting to watch these levels here, 200s, and see if we're going to be able to stay above 200. We got some bids here, 102. 122 contracts here, sorry, 175. Let's see, maybe we get a prime long for continuation. Now watching this rejection here. See if we can get through this bid there. They traded through the bid. So there's that first target. There's that prime long. So we traded into the bid, 122 contracts, and immediately got that reaction. So that was the long right there. As soon as we hit it, got the prime long and took the trade right there for a quick 15 points. And when you combine that with the fact that the level 200 is a key level, and then we had that bid at 122 contracts, of course, signals that prime long signal. So I don't really sell the indicators individually. It's just part of the membership. Everything that we have that you see, it's all part of the singular membership. So I just finished building this out. We've had different variations of it. So yeah, this is already going to be released this week. Everything you see on this chart is pretty much already released. The only thing that's not yet is going to be Vega and then the liquidity levels, but that will be released here by the end of the week. Let's go ahead and refresh that, see what is still relevant. So I like to keep the lines on the chart just because what happens is a lot of these levels end up becoming useful support resistance in the future. So for me, it's almost like a liquidity map, a historical log of where large liquidity got placed. So we already know this 200 level is an important level. Obviously, price is telling that too because it's beginning to pin this level. And it's helpful because when we start looking at key levels, there's so many different key levels. You have overnight high, you have, opening range, you have obviously gamma levels, which we use as well. That's also part of our suite, right? So we have a gamma 3 level. You can see right here, and it looked important, right? But the reality is this is the liquidity that will make it important. So if there's liquidity set at that level, it becomes significant. We watched it interaction. Here you go. They just put an offer here. So more than likely, we're going to end up trading to that offer. Let's see if they use that as a magnet for price. But we got to be mindful. 15-minute candle is about to close. We got 3 minutes left, and price is going to need to either close near its high to reach that liquidity, or it's going to end up closing underneath this level and wait for the next 15-minute reset. So what I also like too with these prime longs is these are really good support levels down here. Not that I just buy blindly off the level, but typically, you know, these are what you call these deeper retracements. People try to buy off the moving average, which is okay, but you can buy off the bottom of our Enzo band, and that's where you'll get the best risk reward. Let's see what happens here. So right now there's two-way auction between the 175 level and 225 level. So this is kind of our battle zone right now. But what's helpful is we have liquidity up top. So this could be potentially our magnet for price. I'm just going to wait a little bit and see. Okay, now we're beginning to firm up here as we get into the new 15-minute candle. Just give it some time for the 15-minute to close. But this would be the next potential draw. So we're watching auction level 225 according to Vega. We're waiting. Okay, so invalidation will be acceptance back below 200. So we got PMI, Chicago PMI getting released here in 45 seconds. I'd be looking for potential next 15-minute candle to open up. Obviously, we're going to be opening up inside, so you can see already we have 20 seconds left. Next candle will open up inside, and we'll see which way they're going to go. But we're beginning to now get extreme down here, so we'll see if this is going to begin to start a rotation lower, or is there simply an even deeper retracement pulling back to our gamma level here. I don't see any significant liquidity down at this level. Okay, here we go. There's the prime long. This could be the reclaim. 10 seconds. Okay. Right there, right at that liquidity. 146 contracts, and literally to the wick. They just tagged it. They didn't close through it yet. Funny. This would be that pullback into the opening range high. That would just be too easy, right? No, it only works with live data. Eventually, you know, we can build it that way. It'll have a historical log, so everything that occurs. Oh, actually, I see what you're saying. If you go back in time, yeah, I never thought about that. Running it during market replay, something to consider. There you go. So they're trading to that level. They just added a new offer there, so they're beginning to stack offers. They have major contracts here at 270 as well. Coming in. Gotta wait. Look at that 250 level. So have not taken out the opening range. So what I would wait for, if they don't do it right now, I think they're going to liquidate one more time, maybe get another move and then take it back up. But if you're watching time-based charts, you know, you can see price like on the 1 minute holding the 9 moving average. So people are trying to buy this breakout. There's a 1 minute chart right there. You can see them really trying to get this. Buyers absorbing off the overnight low at 217s. Now they're going to see if we can get that punch through the opening range high. But I don't like buying in this pattern here. A spike into a range. For me, I prefer the entry down here, which I missed. And then when we get into a range like this, I'll probably just wait again for them to liquidate one more time. But, you know, of course it can go without us. What's Vegas saying now? It's accepted above 225. So invalidation would be acceptance below 225, obviously. A large offer at 39s. 104 contracts. Oh, okay. And there you go. Look at that. That's why you don't want to be buying up in this area here. You got to wait. There you go. So that's the little sweep right there. Boom. You can see these would have been the nice pullback entries. I prefer deeper. Would have been better if it actually came to our level here. I'd prefer something like that. Still consolidating. We're still in two-way auction. So 225, you gotta be careful with this because when you start looking at that level as a breakout level or breakdown level, you're gonna get trapped. There's a large bid down at 150 they just placed. Yeah, look at that. Large bid, 3,150, 112 contracts detected. That's our gamma level. That's good. So that's helpful to know. So we see that for sure. And if price is rotating, then that could be where we will find the actual support that we need to get long, essentially. But we'll see what happens right here. I'm going to take a scalp. Oh, that was too quick. So took that prime long. These signals are these extreme signals where, you know, when people are trying to buy pullbacks, they get stopped out. In this type of current market that we're in, at least for these last 10 minutes, trend trading is going to be very difficult. Pullback trading is going to be very difficult. So this is going to be how you can enter these trades with low risk. So that was another nice little scalp there. Another 15 points. Let's see if we can firm up here, but that bid down below 150's got me concerned about buying and holding until we can clear that bid. Take a look at the book map real quick. Okay, this could be the move here. This is the last 10 minutes of the hour. Let's see if we get that spark. Let's see if we can get it. Clear that bid once and for all. Bingo. Target hit. Boom, shakalaka. Boom, baby. Don't you like it when a trade instantly works? So that might be worth kind of reviewing, because the narrative there was we had this bid, they couldn't fill it. In fact, it started right here at 250. You see they came right to it, right? So it was an offer. They came right to it, couldn't fill it, major quarter level, and then we got this consolidation. So FOMO traders are trying to buy the pullback off a moving average. Breakout traders are trying to sell the breakdown. Our ENSO system, this is what we call the system with the alerts and all that. You see prime long is the signal going against the short side. So at this point, these would be sellers here. And once we got that nice little pop, we knew the opening range high, highly likely going to get taken out. We know that. It's just a matter of where the right position is and the right timing. So took the pop on these guys getting stopped out. Nice little pullback to our little golden pocket, if you will, my version of it, and then bam, you can see all the aggression here: 500 contracts, 100 contracts, 183 contracts. So these are more than likely people who got stopped out, right? This is aggressive buys, market buy orders, which pretty much are buy stop orders that, if you kind of just look at the overall structure here, more than likely we had some sellers that had been hanging out around 250 because of what we had back June 23rd, I think it was. We go back to the hourly chart. You can see back around here, this is where we had that, what was this, PCE release. So this was the news catalyst that led to this rotation. So now they're just repairing that high. So, you know, you put all these little pieces together, not that you need to, but that's kind of what Vega is going to be doing for us, right? Vega is supposed to be kind of like our sidekick to help us see the things that maybe we just don't have the bandwidth process or understand or see, just because there's so much information, so many things happening. So that was cool. All right. So that right there puts us at back-to-back target hit. I should have freaking expanded. What's my ATR right now? It's about 150 ticks. That's why the targets are so easy, you know? So if the ATR is 150 and you're taking like a 60 tick scalp or whatever, I mean, you're pretty much going to hit these wins like clockwork. And then once the market, you know, you could, I guess we do know the market is directional at the moment, right? But we're going into the JOLTS report here in 5 minutes. So a lot of times the news, they'll lift price up just to bring it down, right? So we kind of have to be mindful of that. So we're beginning to get some interesting interaction now with our lug levels. Let's take a look at that. Very interesting interaction there. You can see that we've reached our big red. And we also have another gamma level here. This is gamma 1. It's quite interesting when we have a double stack like that. Now, I know a lot of people would probably just blindly try to short that, but we gotta wait. I'm not gonna short that. Not like that. You gotta wait. This thing's ripping. Now we're breaking through that lug level. Let's see. Let me get rid of our major quarters here real quick, just to look at what we got. Alrighty. So that's our GEX 1 right here that we just took out. Next one will be 30,350s. Large offers here, 3,025. 30,325, sorry. They're gonna punch through these offers here. You can just see how these offers are really putting pressure on price here. Just waiting. A minute and a half here till news releases. Okay, we got a new set of lug levels printing. So now our next area of balance is going to be 3,375. Let's see if we can get up to yellow lug level here. "30 seconds here till news." Not much of a reaction. We did break GEX 4. Let's see if we can, oh, I missed it. That would have been a nice prime short signal right there on that reclaim of our GEX 4 level. All right. All right, we're testing our prior red. Let's see if we're gonna get back below. So we'll be watching here this 300 level. Failed. So our new failure level is 30,350. That's the failure level. You can see the alert on Vega buyers failed at 30,350s. Good. Buyers step back into support right at GEX 1 at 300s. We didn't get our signal here because we didn't get extreme enough. So we would need to see price kind of like a little bit more extreme than that, but that's okay. There still might be opportunity here. We have a bid at 800 contracts at 250 down below. So whenever you see a large bid like that, it can usually be used to ignite price to go higher, you know, because this bid's far away from price currently, right? So 800 contracts at 250, price is already it's like 100 points away. I actually do have an automation. I have hotkeys that I normally set and do all that stuff with. But I'm currently not executing with the hotkeys at the moment, but I do have all that built out. That's all part of it. I think the main thing right now is just most people that they're going to be watching just have no idea what any of this stuff means. So I think the main thing is kind of like trying to explain things as it unfolds and develops, and whether someone has the tools or not, they'll be able to at least, you know, understand the logic behind it. Sometimes if you just have automation running, you don't sit there and actually think about why is this the right trade. You just kind of blindly take it. And I know that's, you know, most people with their automation systems, that's how they promote it, but That's not really my approach to it. I just use automation to kind of help with the execution, but I still want to be the one making the final decision, judgment call as to whether or not it's something I want to take. Otherwise, you end up over trading, you know, because everything looks like a good signal. All right, let's see what we're gonna do here. Beginning to get some momentum towards 400s. Nice recovery on that 5-minute. If you look at a 5-minute candle. Yeah. $800 contracts on the ask just got added. Adjust that real quick. $824 contracts on the ask up top here at 3,000 at 420s. Beginning to see a little bit of a reaction there. Watching this 30,050 level. They could be trapping underneath. Nice little bear trap. Let's see what happens if they can reclaim. But we are underneath our hourly open print. 362s. So buyers will need to get back above and reclaim for this hourly auction to stay and remain in control by buyers. So 10 o'clock open, we pushed down, retested our 300 level, attempted to break back above the hourly, unable to do so. Let's see. This is where they need to step in. Buyers need to hit the gas pedal here. That's what we want to see. There's some sellers now. Bid at 300s. We need to see, if you want to be a buyer, you got to see sellers get involved. If you want to be a seller, you got to see buyers get involved, right? So that's kind of the logic of the auction here. Let's see. Large seller here executed, and we had a bid below still. We can see here they're stacking the offer on the 1 minute, and they're using that to force price down, put pressure on price. And Renko's showing us very clean structure, which I'm not trying to be cynical, but to me that's a scam. When it's too clean, you got a nice trend line. That's a scam. And now you're gonna fake the trend line. They're gonna fake break. Then you're gonna trap breakout buyers. All right, there you go. Okay, scam. They keep stacking 100 contract offers. You see how they're doing that? They just keep stacking. That's a manipulation here. They just keep. It must be like an algorithm that's just stacking 100 contracts every 5 points, 10 points, but they cancel it. These orders are actually not staying in the book, right? They're being placed and then removed, placed and then removed. If I want to see which is the most relevant, all I do is hit F5, refreshes, and tells me which are the actual real orders. The only real order is the one above at 460s. Let's see now if we can get that pop. Boom. I took a quick scalp there on that reclaim. That was instant reclaim. So use that little trend line trap, meaning trend line, people trying to like sell the trend line, they trap them. Then people try to buy the breakout pullback, breakout retest, trap them. We got trap seller down here, large bids, 300 contract. We're in our extreme zone. Price started closing outside our bottom ENSO bands, and we start seeing that closure. That's it. Bingo. Nice quick scalp. Instant 15 points. Sniper. I don't even know what type of drawdown I've had on these trades. I don't think really any drawdown from, I think the only one I took was the one I stopped out on. But the trades that work, or the right trades, work instantly. What's Vega telling us? Be mindful 350, two-way auction. What's two-way auction? It's neutral, right? Buyers and sellers are balanced at this level, at this price level. So just be careful trying to short below it and be careful trying to buy above it. Because what happens is if you're trying to buy above it, if it's a two-way auction, that's where you're going to see sellers step in. It's actual level 2 data. So you need to have level 2 data, right? Level 2 data. So it's actual orders, just like book map or heat map. Are you a member of DTS already? I don't recognize the name. That's why. And the gamma levels as well, right? So the gamma levels are actual updates. They update every day at midnight. And they're taken from options data. So now they're trying to hold 350. So wait for acceptance above 350. Nothing yet. Oh, okay. Then you'll get access to it once we finish refining it. It'll be good to go. Notice that hourly open, they just can't get away from it. So this hourly open print is 10 a.m. We'll see what happens here at 10:15. Technically, it's the opening range of the 10 o'clock hour. I kind of treat every hour as an auction. And every hour, we're going to subdivide it into the first 15 minutes, first 30 minutes, and kind of use that to kind of gauge control of the auction, buyers, sellers. This is the first, it's another attempt here to get back above the hourly open. Can they stay above the hourly open? See the 1 minute, we've not been able to close through, right? We need to see closure. Let's see. Got VWAP down below 247s. Buyers are beginning to accept above 325. Oh yeah, we've been accepted above 325. Still two-way auction at 350. Be careful buying above 350. Unless you're trading this flag pattern that you see on the 1 minute chart. If that's a setup that you take, this is worth noting because we're under this key level, they're building pressure. So it's gonna burst one direction or another, right? And the only relevant liquidity we have right now is up top at 460s. So we'll see if that's where they end up running it through. The 15-minute gave us a swing high failure. Actually, it's potentially forming a swing high. It hasn't formed a swing high yet on the 15. But 5-minute looks like it's trying to curl here and pop. We haven't really taken out. We got some stuff to fix up in this area here. You can see this candle here. No wicks. So this is like unfinished business. So that's kind of where we would expect price to go, maybe fix and repair that area of price. But we can see the trading range right now between GEX 1 and GEX 4. So we have 350s and 300s. So these are large areas, these are important areas for dealers. These are where they're going to be hedging their positions, right? So let's see here real quick. Where is our HVL? Yeah, so we're in positive game of territory environment. So this is why we're seeing price kind of trade this way. We get this break of a high, and then you see selling come in because they're hedging their positions using futures. So there's a closure through. Let's see if we get expansion now. You can see that 1 minute bull flag beginning to unfold. I don't really trade a bull flag like that, but it's just good to watch the expression of price, because price will express itself, order flow and all that. It expresses itself in the form of candlestick patterns. And there's the failure. Is that a trap? You see how they swept a high, came back in. So now let's see what they're going to do. And this is why I don't trade those patterns. Still two-way auction at the 350 level. So that's why we don't want to buy above 350. We don't want to sell below 350. So in that case, what do? You have to wait. You need to see some acceptance away one direction or another. This is where a lot of people will get, what do you call it? Chopped up. There you go. So this is where buyers will need to remain in control here. See if they can lock in above the hourly open print. We're staying firm above the 350 level. It says buyers accepted above 350. Let's see if they can remain in control above 350. $375. Got liquidity and see. Well, we still have this offer hanging out up here, so that is probably where they're going to want to take this thing. So slow grind acceptance through 350. You can see the body closure here, couldn't close under, and now we're getting really just a grind up, but nonetheless, they're closing through. So we're getting those closures. The next thing would be to see some type of expansion, right? They're coiling price right now as they're walking it up. There we go. They're trying here. See that book map? They keep trying. They keep trying above the yellow level, 75. And then liquidity at 30,400. Small liquidity. Let's see if they can take out that offer at 400s. And you got gold lifting, right? The value price is lifted 1%, is up 1% right now. There it is. Boom. Let's see all this aggressive buying. The 300 contracts here. Let's see if they can pump through the 400s. There you go. So that bull flag, very nice pressure build up. And it's very nice because it also lines up with a very important level. So that's the other piece. A pattern without a level, you know, doesn't have as much edge. We're now trading above the prior 15-minute candle high as we approach initial balance time in 7 minutes. A pretty decent size IB. Our opening range, 25 points. Yeah, our opening range is 25 points. That's all right. $264 points is the opening range. So pretty huge. It's a huge 15-minute opening range. 264 points. Goodness gracious. That's a 1,000-tick move right at the open. So if you're long, that's all you needed right there for the week. So let's see. You can see that we are expanding outside, and that's what happens when we are in compression, right? When we're in compression, our bands get real close together, and then we begin to start expanding. And so when price starts aggressively trading outside the bands, it begins to force the bands to expand, and then we have kind of a new auction that we can play within. So we kind of have like a new range, if you will. So let's see how much further they're going to continue to expand after spending time in this area here. Where's my POC at? It hasn't migrated yet. We got a prime short, which is expected after expansion. You're going to see price retrace. Not interested in taking that. So what I would like to see for this to balance or rebalance is I want to see price maybe push higher, expand a little bit more. Let's get away from this range down here. I want to get away from this entire consolidation. And then we can use this for later as a magnet. So I like to see maybe price get like up to 500s where our call wall is. And then we can start participating in a easier manner, because then we'll have a much bigger range that we can play with. Because when you're in a consolidation like this, I mean, there's no edge for buyers or sellers, really. It's pretty balanced at that point. So you've got to just time the entries where you're buying low, taking profit at the mid, selling high, profit at the mid. So not much room for error there. So when we get the breakout, I typically expect the first prime signal to fail after spending time in a consolidation. S&P, you can tell if you hear clicking, that's our tick strike that we're using. That's just telling us that the level the tape is getting hit on the offer. Yes. So our lug level is acting as a nice little resistance here at 42s or 422s. But we're approaching this level and we're just slowly drifting higher, slowly drifting higher. When we're in a slow drift, right, you don't want to be trading against a slow drift, okay? That slow drift is basically will crush you, right? You don't take it as a form of weakness. People are like, well, price isn't moving, it's not doing anything. It must mean that buyers are no longer active. Oh no, they're active. They're active. And we're balancing up and hitting this area again. Vegas telling us that the delta bias is neutral. Makes sense. That's why you're seeing price just slow grind. All right, IB is set. Let's see if they run the IB high at 427. There you go. That's all the price was waiting for. Initial balance to get set. NASDAQ is now up officially 1%. Pretty big IB. Our IB high, you can see the zone's already mapped out here. It's pretty similar price action to yesterday. Yesterday was just non-stop grind up, bullish. Full recovery above 30,000s. Where is our major level? 500 is our major level. So big major level here. Our call wall at 30,500s. And we have another offer just added at 420s. So even more reason for price to move higher. What I would like to see, a new 30-minute candle opened up. Let price get below the 30-minute open. Right, so that's our IB. Get below this high, 424. Let's get below our 30-minute open. Maybe get a retest down here, stop out some people, and then get long back again into the IB. Like this. And then get back long again. And that would be good because then it would line us up with a nice prime around 350. So I'd like to get long again at 350 if we can, or if technically what I would prefer is we move up, take out these offers, price comes back, or maybe don't even take out the offer, just move up a little bit, then get underneath 410s, 400s, and use my 400 level to get long. Let's see. Sellers are trying to get price underneath the IB high. Okay, we're getting back underneath the IB. Let's see. This is nice. We like that. Four two four 1250. Go ahead and I'm gonna refresh the Renko chart real quick. Uh-oh. Let's also refresh our 1 minute chart just so we can find the most relevant levels. Interesting. We're back under the IB. Let's see, let's see. First test of the hourly open, or the 30-minute open. That could have been a pretty decent scalp there, but I don't know. Not really interested in trying to fade this right now. I haven't seen enough violence to the upside. We need to see more violence. Like this slow grind to the upside tells me there's a lot more energy available for price to just rip. If you're gonna fade an aggressive, or I should say an uptrend, slow grind trend, you gotta look for some type of capitulation into a key level, so we know that the buyers have been exhausted. But I'm not convinced yet. So I believe there's still more energy here. We've reclaimed back under our IB high. We're testing 400. See the 400 big figure here. I want price lower, 350s, maybe yellow lug level. Now they're beginning to stack the offer. You can see they put 100 contracts on the ask. That's good. That means that they're trying to push price down. We call it the spoofing, okay? It's spoofing. They'll use an order, throw an order out there to get price to react one way or the other. But if we don't care necessarily that they're spoofing. What we care about is the reaction price. Like, did it actually drop price or did it lift price? It looks like it's lifting price. So that's actually telling us that it's probably a spoof. Now look at the book map to confirm, because they removed the orders, right? They placed it, removed it, price traded up, and now so it created a vacuum. And now we see price rotating back down to that level. That means that there's probably a bid somewhere, someone trying to get filled lower. So we'll see what happens. What I'd like to see is a displacement through 400. I'd like to see price give me some closure through 400, get real aggressive on the sell side, and then reclaim, and then I can start getting long again. So it's interesting. Let's take a look here. What's going on here? So 1 minute chart. Here's our 400 level. We've closed under the 30-minute open. That's good. We want that. And then we see price get a close back up. So we had a seller failure right here. Not enough for me yet, though. I want to see price like do something pretty aggressive here. I need to see like displacement in the opposite direction. Maybe actually retest this breakout level, so all the breakout traders are kind of forced to stop out if they didn't take profit and then get long, right? So that put me right around 350s. That'll actually line me up here on the Renko chart for pretty decent and so long. It gives me nice range back up to the high. But hey, may not happen, right? May not happen. But that's kind of what I would have preferred to see. So what's notable here is the action or the reaction to the lug level at 422s, combining now with the IB high. So we had a breakout, break back in, break out, break back in. Then we broke open print. That's important because it's telling us that the auction is currently in control, in this case by sellers. Right? We broke 400s, major level. Buyers attempted again, unable to do so. And just now we had a sweep above the level. So breakout buyers trying to buy the first pullback. This is where they're trying to get long. I'm watching this swing low here on the 1 minute chart, fractal low. This is what I want to see, displacement. Because now what I would look at is this right there as a reason for price to get bullish again. Eventually you want to get back there and repair that. And then you got these offers still hanging out at 450s. Let me refresh just to make sure they're still present. They are still present. So they're staying in the book. And because they're staying in the book, that's more significant than just a flash, right? So this has been hanging out here for quite some time. I want to validate that. Let's go to the book map. We can go to book map real quick. We can see that those offers have been there at 450. It's for quite a while. Yeah, look at that. It's been there. It's just hanging out there. Look at that. Since, what time is this? 10:26. Even longer. The one from 455. So we'll see. We shall see. So now these buyers are getting stopped out. So everyone who was buying, if they didn't take the profit, gotta just ask yourself who's underwater right now, right? The IB breakout buyers, they're underwater. They're using statistics to say, hey, price is going to move this much away from the IB high based on historical data. So of course you're buying and that's it. So these guys are kind of like, well, it's okay. We haven't hit the mid yet. And that's fine. You know, they're right. It hasn't taken out the IB mid. But who wants to sit there through like a 500, 600 tick pullback, right? And not me. Right? You're buying a break right here. That mid, like 600 ticks, give or take. It's too much. So these guys are trapped. And now all you got to do to kind of frame this correctly is just basic support resistance. So right now, where are we stepping up or stepping down? So we're stepping down. And so until we start stepping back up and accepting higher prices, well, we're going to basically be trading against the current momentum, the current trend. So there's our prime long, and that would have been an acceptable opportunity. It kind of lined up with everything I was kind of hoping for, a move back to 75s. Sellers got somewhat aggressive here. There was an offer. Buyers took back control. This is exactly the type of entry I would have liked to have taken. And then we hit our lug level. So a better, cleaner option would be let them close back above. And then we see price maybe fail one more time. Sellers fail to keep price below. And then we can just buy that next leg up. But let's see what happens here. I may have missed it as I was explaining again. So I'm not going to buy that, but note to just restack the offer, reloaded, they refreshed it at 450s. Oh, you guys can't see that. Let's go back to 1 minute chart. Sorry. They just reloaded the 450s right there. I want to see this situation here. Let them take out this and give me another lower low one more time. Retest this area here where the breakout buyers feel safe. They're adding to their position right now, so let's see if we can get them stopped out and then we can buy their stops. So the actual I would say pain threshold for these guys would be right there. This is that candle that everyone saw as the money candle, right? That's all you gotta do is just ask yourself, like, where does retail see all the best entry? Would be right here. Anyone who goes into their journal and plots where should I have entered my trade, they're going to say that candle right there is where I should have entered my trade. And because that's what it is, guess where price is going to go? I'm going to go right there, stop them all out first. $15-minute now is forming a potential swing fractal high. What that means is we are trading above, trading below. Let me just show you. The 15-minute candle with a high, higher high, and now we're trading through the low of this 1045 candle. Potential swing fractal high. The problem is our fractal lows way down here. So a couple scenarios, if price is going to be, if they're going to be assholes today, they're going to form a swing high and go all the way back down, which I don't think that's going to happen. The other scenario is they're going to form a fractal high, come down, form a fractal low, and then we get rotation back up. And then from there, we see if we go higher or go lower. But this is beginning to look good for me for my long. So I'm just kind of waiting now. Yeah, buyer there on under 375. I kind of like this, but not ready yet. Oh, sorry, you can't see. Let's go back to the 1 minute chart. There we go. I kind of like this. These guys still feel safe, but I'm hoping that they do liquidate right here first. This is the magnet at 333. All right. Nice little wedge. Let's see. At that higher high structure here, higher high, lower low. Technically it'd be right here. Yeah, so this is a structure that we're playing with right here. Watching this lug level 75, watching my Renko Prime. And so Prime, let's see. It's probably gonna fail. We got 2 Prime fails. That's good. That's okay. Very rarely will you see 3 or 4 fail in a row. Very rarely do you see that. Unless it's like a really highly volatile market. But even then, you would still hit your targets. You'd hit your scalp targets. Which, if you understand the method of what it is, you're not necessarily trying to catch a full rotation. I mean, you can with your runner, but the bulk of the trade is the scalp target, and then you keep your runner on, so we can catch the full trend rotation. All right, well, 350s is a good level for us here, but I'm not ready yet. We're not ready yet. I need lower prices. We have a very important level, 321. That's what I'm watching for. The HVL level there, 321. We're hanging out at GEX 4 on the NQ. But I want that 333 level to go. And then we got all this right here too, right? So these are, it's the 10 o'clock low. So this is the low I would expect that, okay, I'm okay if they leave that one alone, because then that would frame the 30-minute structures bullish. I'm okay if they leave that one alone. If they sweep that, then we run the risk of the 30-minute now potentially getting bearish, and then maybe we get an even deeper rotation. So just kind of looking at all that. They are beginning to flatten out here. You can see 350s. Look at these closures. And we got these nice little areas where they can, I like these wicks. Renko holding up. Why am I not buying yet? Well, simple. I don't want to buy yet if we are rejecting. So support, break, right? This becomes resistance, support, break, support, break becomes resistance. Very basic stuff. But it's so funny because if you just understand basic support resistance, you pretty much understand every system that's out there. At the end of the day. Look at that. That's too clean. They got to take this out. They're kind of just loading it up. They got to just take out this 33 level. We got a 2 try here on the 1 minute. See the sellers, they tried twice. They failed to take out that low. Well, let's see here. They may come back and try again. So you get sellers coming in once, coming in twice. So we get price closing above this high here, then these sellers could get liquidated. That's what we want. We need to get sellers involved in order to get long. This is why you got to be patient. Even though there's a lot of signals you can take, you can see the charts. Oh yeah, I could have bought here, could have sold here. That's perfectly fine. You can do all that. But the goal is not to take every single flash, you know, every move, every wiggle, every jiggle. Right? The thing about the structure, the reason why I like trading structure, like you see here, 350 to 375, that's the auction that we're in right now. That's 100 ticks, right? That moved 25 points. You could have made like 300 ticks between those two levels there, right? If you just bought the bottom, sold the hot top, sold the top, buy the bottom, you could technically scalp that, right? All right, there's that level. So all those breakout buyers are like panicking. They're probably gonna have to. They didn't take profit. They got to get out of their positions, right? They're gonna get stopped out. So let's see. Let's see. People who buy 1 minute bull flags, they're usually using pretty tight stop losses. Come on, I need a little bit more extreme. And now I have to consider the fact that it's 10:53, 7 minutes left. The 30-minute auction is bearish. So what are the chances, unless there's a news catalyst, that in 7 minutes that we're going to reclaim that entire 30-minute candle, the opening print? It's probably not going to happen, right? So if I do take a trade before this next 30-minute candle, at best I can expect maybe just a retracement off the low, which would basically be the typical formation of a candle. You got to open, high, low, close. Better move is let this candle close, wait for the next 30-minute auction to open up. Then from there, we can trade the opposing move, then catch that flip from below the open to above the open. Because then we have that entire 30-minute candle prior that's kind of stacked with liquidity that we can go run, right? Stop losses that we can go trigger. And stop losses are buy stops, right? So that's in this instance for sellers. There we go. There we go. This could have been a nice short now, you know, obviously talking about it, but I didn't want to short this. I want to kind of like stay in sync with the macro. And if the macro begins to change, then of course we can change our view and our approach and what we're looking to do. But now we stop these guys out. I like that. That's what I wanted. That's what I want to see. So the market is obviously bearish enough now. So for me to begin to start saying, okay, let's start thinking long, I need to now start seeing some rotation. I need to start seeing some reclaims. I need to start seeing sellers begin to fail. Right now, buyers are the ones failing, right? They're failing this auction. So now we're approaching our key level here at 300s. Now I want to see what happens. We still have 5 minutes left here on the hour. This is going to be probably the reclaim right here, which would form the 30-minute low, or the hourly candle low. This is the low of the 11 or the 10:30 30-minute candle, or the 11 o'clock candle, depending if you're tracking the 1 hour or the 30-minute. So now if I were to say, hey, look, this is the hourly open, the 10. This is the low, this is the high, this is the close. So if price closes like this, let's take a look at the hourly candle here. We have a nice little doji here. We did just get a prime long. Oof, I'm tempted to take that one, man. I am tempted to take that one, but I'm not going to take it yet. But this is potentially, so it's going to close like this. We can pretty much assume that. We would consider we have 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left on this candle. The next 1 hour is highly likely to trade through the low. And then from that low, we can assess if it's going to end up sweeping. Right, so this becomes our new range. So we'll just let the candle close, and it's either going to sweep the low, trade lower, and in that case, we will get a bearish candle 3. Right, so 1, 2, 3, it becomes a swing high. Or what happens is that it doesn't trade through the low, immediately reclaims trades through the high. Or you have a scenario where it trades through the low and then trades through the high. That's better because they trade through the low. That means they stop out, you know, the 10 o'clock longs and then reclaim, boom, take out the high. That's better because we still have that offer at 450. I wonder if they're going to get there. We'll see. So all I'm trying to do here is just put a story, a narrative together, and be patient. And so, you know, when you're in a situation where you're trying to, when you start thinking like Vega, right? So what's Vega telling us? It's looking at acceptance. It's looking at support resistance. It's looking at important context to frame a bias. That's how we got to start trading ourselves, right? That's how we got to start framing our view of the markets, because market conditions change so quickly. And the reality is, even though the market conditions can change from minute to minute, 5 minute to 5 minute, it can be a lot for you to start trying to like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get long, I'm going to get short. So we got to kind of like zoom out, pause things a little bit, and understand that within the auction, there's going to be micro auctions. Within a trend, there's going to be micro trends. And right now, micro trend is bearish, right? We can see we've got this big pullback. So for 30 minutes, it's bearish. But looking at an hourly chart, you're going to probably say, oh, it's bullish, right? It's bullish. Not just because of the singular candle, but because of this entire migration, this move from 250s all the way above 30,000s. That's why we're bullish on the macro. We got 2 minutes left. Let's let this hourly candle close. So 250 is an important level here. We're testing the VWAP. I like that. Our buyer's going to step in at the VWAP. This is the first test. It looks like key levels, VWAP, opening range high. All right, so let me now look at this possibility of getting, if I did get long, I would want to get long for the high, the 450s. So now I have an opportunity to think about framing the situation. 600 tick trade. Got nice little easy liquidity that we can start trying to potentially aim for. Large liquidity up top. Let's refresh that just to see what's still relevant on the chart. Let me go back to the 1 minute chart. All right, let's delete all this stuff on the chart. We're at a major GEX level. GEX 1. New candle just opened. So we're getting that initial pump higher. 5 minute looks like it's going to try to take out 350, the previous candle 5 minute high. But we got this offer right there. You can see 117 contracts on the ask. And price rejected. Yeah. Let's see if they're going to be able to get below the open. I don't know if they can. I'm going to take a tight stop here, right under the low, just in case. So I'm in long, already 50 ticks, but let's see if these guys can get through this offer. There's my 60 ticks. I'm taking already my partial, just in case. And then we hold for the runner. There's 100 ticks. Stops at break even. I hold for the high of day. 150 ticks. We'll find some resistance here, but not so much. But this area here has got to be cautious. They really want that 450 level, so I'm going to keep my target for 450. I don't even know if anyone's still on the stream, to be honest. I'm not tracking all that, so I have no idea. Anyone still there? That 350 level again. That 350, I think that's the same auction, two-way auction level that we were dealing with before. What was it, 325? Yeah, it was 225, I think. No, it was the same level. So here's my runner. We're up 185 ticks. Remember what I said about my prime signals? Very rarely you're going to get 3 or 4 failures in a row. We have 1, 2, 3. Very rarely. And very rarely. Gotta watch this lug level. This is where that resistance is. So it's possible that price could retrace back all the way down. Oops. All the way down to here. So I'll be watching on the Renko chart if my 50 moving average can stay firm, which is this yellow dotted line here. Watching the interaction here of this 50 level. Nice pull back to the 50 moving average. So let's see if we get acceptance above 75s. 5 minute did give us a nice rotation, very nice swing low fractal, but now I need to see expansion on this next candle. So from 1105 to 1110, I need to see this thing move. So 75, let's see if we can get through 75. I want that 450 target, huh? Liquidity still in the book. The whole narrative today was or I should say this trade was built around these 450, 200 contracts on the ask. We're probably going to get a liquidation really quick before they take it up higher. I'm going to take one off just in case. So just kind of, that way I can just leave my runner pretty much at break even. I don't give back too much. So I just took the one of the two runners I had on. And then maybe if we get a liquidation, it's no problem. I can always re-add, right? When you start seeing this type of channel formation, similar to a wedge, boom, and then it goes. Typically. We're up 260 ticks. I'd probably lock in at least half, right? Let's see if we get to that 450 level here. Buyers are staying persistent. We still have a minute and a half left on this 5-minute candle. Let's see, 8 seconds here. See if we get this closure through 75s. Okay, officially accepted above 75. Next level, 400. That's what Vega's watching for. You see Vega just updated saying buyers accepted 375. Bias is bullish. Next level is 400. Tier 2 offer is the draw. At, where's that price at? 420s. 420s. Refresh that and see what's still relevant. I'm looking for an ad around 350. If we can get down to 350, buy more. Guess we're not going to get that pullback after all. Let's see if these guys can clear the 400 offer. Yep. Large buying just came in. They executed those offers. You can see 271 contracts. It was 259 on the ask. So buyers are here. They're buying. Let's see if we get that final target and wrap it up. We're up holding 343 ticks of target profit right now. And all we're doing is just targeting our liquidity. Maybe even just take an earlier target around 422s. We'll see what happens. We can start trailing tight now. Not that tight, but tight enough. Oh, look at that. Tier 2 offer upgraded to 824 contracts at 450s. Vega telling us, keep bringing our attention that they just increased more offers, more orders at 450s. So somebody's really trying to get stacked up there. Okay, this might be the sweep here before they run it up higher. Let's see. Keep my in some space. This might be my ad that I was looking for. New 15-minute candle has just opened. Swing low formation. Let's take a look here. We got our fractal low confirm down here. We also have our fractal high confirm right here. So we have 2 points of interest. So this swing low just formed. What we want is price to get through this candle 3 high as quickly as possible. But there's a possibility it pulls back to the midpoint first before pushing up higher. We'll see what happens. But I do like that we've closed back. So we went above, back below, back above our 75 lug level. We had stacked GEX levels here, as you can see. 31, 350s. These are NDX levels. So we actually will look at NQ and NDX for the NASDAQ. And you can see how buyers really stepped right back in, right at the VWAP. But we need this thing to rip. Got to be careful here on this 400 level. Buyers did fail the 400, so if we don't reclaim 400, there's a possibility we see a deeper next level attempt for support break around 75. So let's see what happens here. Big rejection error, 400s. 5-minute failure. So now watching 350. Oh, thank you. Welcome. The stream is new as well. I haven't streamed on YouTube for a while. Usually just stream inside the private community, but I think we're gonna open it up, have more fun, get more people in the mix. All right, watching here. Let's throw back a couple of these important levels. Our 75 level here, holding a support. So we like that. Buyers were unable to really, sellers were unable to keep price under 75. And then this was the second attempt where they failed. So this would have been a nice buy, scalp long from above this high. But again, they're still dealing with 400. We had a 5-minute rejection of 400. So if I'm going to add to the position, I need to see price maybe get a little lower than where it's at right now, unless we just start getting parabolic. Once it's parabolic, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about clean entries. But right now, ATR 91 ticks. It's pretty decent, actually. 11:21, 15 minutes gearing up here. Hopefully we can get to this prior 15-minute candle high, and then that can give us the fuel we need to accelerate to these offers that are hanging out 450s. So you got to think about, like, most people, I mean, depending on what level they're at, they're probably, you got to always think of like both sides. Like, okay, if I'm a buyer, what am I thinking? If I'm a seller, what am I thinking? So sellers are actually thinking Fibonacci, right? They're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and short 618. Like, they're going to pull up their Fibonacci tool, and they're like, I'm shorting the 618, the golden zone, or whatever, the golden pocket, right? 786, 618. And there's something wrong with that, right? They're thinking, okay, we had a break of structure, pulling back, cool, I'm going to get short here. So that's what they're thinking. So this is why this is an inflection point, because you have multiple concepts and ideas all converging into this one area. And this is why a lot of people kind of search and scour the internet to figure out the holy grail of what is the one truth. What is the truth? Is it Fibonacci? Is it support resistance? Is it order flow? Is it footprint? What is the truth? What is the thing that's going to determine who's right? And, you know, that's the hard part. I would say, you know, everything pretty much works the same. It's like 50-50. It's just more so about your ability to frame it in a way that's truly aligned with what's going on with the current auction. So right now, what does Vegas say? Buyers or sellers have accepted below 30,400. We do have our big draw. The draw is telling us where's the magnet for price. And we're not necessarily using, you know, a swing high or swing low. Yes, you could use that. This is using a bid. We have a large bid sitting at 250. So that's potentially telling us that, let me refresh that real quick. Tier 2 bid at 3,250. That means that it's actually below where we're at. Let's update that. That's already been pulled, so it's no longer there. So that's good. If it was there, that'd be a little concern that price would want to go lower. But it's not there anymore, so that's good. They canceled it. So we still have the offer up above 250s. We have the offers that we're still paying attention to at 450s. So we're just waiting to see. These 400 levels just been sticky. And then I use something called logo levels. These levels I've used probably for about 3.5 years. And whenever we get to a yellow, whenever we're at the yellow lug level, you're going to see this type of price action. And you're going to see price basically pin the level and just kind of rotate and then consolidate and chop around before it begins its next migration, whether it's up or down. So for me, I'm bullish, right? We're obviously holding above our opening range. We're holding the VWAP. We've seen sellers basically had a chance to get control of the auction from 10:30 to 11. They had control, but failed to maintain control from 11 o'clock up into the current moment. So this is, as we close this 30-minute candle, we're going to see what happens next. So I think the resolution will come in after 11:30. And it could very well just go all the way back down. That's perfectly fine. We've already peeled off our contract. So whether I'm right or wrong, I've already paid myself. I'm protected. You know, I've locked in. So now it's just more like entertainment. I'm just sitting here watching what happens. And if it works, then I can say, oh yeah, cool. I had the right idea. And if it doesn't work, I'll say, well, I had the wrong idea. But it doesn't matter because I already paid myself. And that's the cool thing about when you can control your risk and you understand things, you could have the wrong idea and still make money. And the only reason why you keep a runner on is because you have a bigger or longer term horizon for your idea to play out. That's the thing. When you're day trading, you can be right, you know, for 1 minute and be wrong the next minute. I try to layer the higher time frame as kind of like the basis of what I'm trying to accomplish here. And then we'll go into the micro structure, micro time frame to just pick off our targets. And that's it. And we can scalp that 1 hour candle, take like a couple trades during that 1 hour window. As long as we know that 1 hour is expanding and the option's bullish, buyers are in control, we could just buy. Whether you hold for the whole hour or you're taking smaller targets in between, for that duration of time, you can just lean on the fact that that auction for that window of time is being controlled by buyers. So right now, that 30-minute auction has been controlled by buyers. So it's cool. But this can change in 30 minutes. We're going into 11:30, 12 o'clock, London closes, right? So we're going into this consolidation to the London close. So typically what happens at that time is we're going to see volatility begin to spike up as they close, right? And that could mean either we do get expansion and hit the final targets, clear the book at 350s. Maybe those targets are actually London traders trying to close out their orders for their session. Who knows? I don't know. No one really knows at a retail level. So we'll just see. So 450, we're beginning to get acceptance above. You see, Vega just told us acceptance above 400, but we haven't gotten this acceptance away from 400. We've accepted the level, but we need to see expansion away from the level. So ideally, here's how I'm looking at this right now. This 11:30 candle, this is the high of the 11:30. This is where the most sellers are hanging out right here. So this is the 10:30 candle, open high, low close. So now we're approaching the high of that 10:30 candle. And we'll see as we begin to consolidate below the low, maybe that gives us what we need to get that momentum through the level. So we got about a minute and a half left here, 2 minutes left. 15-minute looks like it's really trying to firm up here. Let's see. We got some smaller offers here, 400s, 411s. Let's see if they can trade through those offers. And then the bigger magnet is the IB high. So the fact that we've already traded through the IB high, that gives us a little bit more, confidence that we will at least get a retest of the IB high. Whether it goes all the way through it or not, okay, whatever. I got my targets at 450 because I know that's where the liquidity is. But we'll trail tighter as we start approaching the IB high. So let's go ahead and refresh the liquidity and see what we got on here. They're still present. Those guys are still there. So Fibonacci traders are like, what's going on? My 618 level's not working. Right? They're like, it's not working. I want a refund on that indicator I bought for Fibonacci. This is what we got to watch. Look at this action right here. Right? We broke the level, failed below. Broke it again. Sellers failed to get that closure through the 400 level, followed by closure back up. So this could be the seller failure right there. It doesn't mean that we can't trade below it, because they can still technically like manipulate here in 4 seconds at 11:30, sweep there, and look, they put a bid right here. So they're going to use that to maybe, let's see what they're going to do here. Sweep the level one more time. 110 contracts on the bid. That's usually not a good sign. When price is trending and then they put a bid right under price, usually what will happen is it'll pop and then we'll see. And then they stacked an offer right there, 100 contracts. And this is what I mean. When we see the London market closes, they're obviously closing out their books. You're going to start seeing this volatility come in. It's important to just be aware of the timing of things. So now we got the 11:30 candle. We did not trade. Did we trade through the prior 30-minute? I think we did. Yes, we did. Let's see now. Let's refresh. Bid is gone. Offer still present. That's actually a good sign too. Let's see if they can punch through this. It's all about the reaction. We don't just trade to, oh, there's a seller right there, we're going to short it. No, we got to wait for the reaction. And this is where your basic understanding support resistance comes in, because it applies. It applies to order flow. It applies to Renko charts. It applies to pretty much most methods out there. They're going to tell you, before you enter a trade, wait for some type of confirmation. And what's confirmation? Support resistance. They're stacking that offer again. Let's see. They removed it. Yep, they removed all that offers. They removed all the offers. They canceled it. So those are not real orders, which you call spooks. Let's see. Sitting off almost 400 ticks here on this last runner. Waiting for this move through. The target I actually like is 500s. That's our major call wall. I like the 500 level, but yeah, this is good. I mean, if I can just get that one target, we'll be good and wrap it up here. Wrap it up. Let's see if we can punch through IB. Offers are still hanging out there. So this is where you could, like, you know, look at the book map, and if you want to say, well, I need to see what's happening within these candles. I want to see if candles are actually going up because there's aggressive buying and there's follow through, or what. So I like watching the book map when it comes to when we get to the key level, and I want to see the interaction of order flow. That's when I'll have to start paying attention to book map. But we're literally just 25 points away from those major orders that have been in the book for about an hour, hour and a half. Start seeing the buyers coming in. They start buying. You can see here. This is our major quarter level here, 425. Sellers defending 425. And we can see right here, 415 is where we had a cluster of aggressive buyers come in and take control. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move the Vega out the way so you can see. This is our IB high right here, 425s, give or take. We're getting a reaction here. Move my trail a little higher now. And migrate it in and just lock in about, I don't know, half, about 200 ticks. Yeah, I'll lock in about 225 ticks on this. I mean, you could trail much tighter. It all just depends on what you're trying to do here. But the reason why I have a runner is for a reason, right? The runner is for a reason. It is my bonus trade. I've already paid myself on this trade. So if I can squeeze as much juice out of this trade as possible, it's what I want to do. And for auction control, just look at the open 1130. This is what's helpful for us here. But we're getting to that level. I'm just going to expand my target out. Initially we got through the opening price. Price reclaimed the 30-minute open, and then once again we had price come back and retest. Look at the 1 minute chart. I'll put the 1 minute chart back on because we used the 1 minute to just look at closures. So we traded through it. We just formed a wick. We got that seller that came in, down candle, meaning seller, right? Could not get below 410. And now we have expansion through this seller. So this is a seller failure and a seller failure to take control of the 1130 opening price. That really builds our case that we're going to maybe trade through these offers here at 450. All right, that really gives us a little bit more. I feel like every minute we get more information that just continues to either reinforce our thesis or invalidate the thesis. But at this point, I mean, we've made enough on this trade, so it doesn't really matter what happens here, right? So again, I'm just watching right here. This is the opening price. Sellers are attacking. They did attack the IB high, which you expect there to be some participants there. Remember, that's a strategy for some algorithms and for some traders. It's like, I'm going to short the IB high, or I'm going to buy the IB break. Just like Fibonacci traders, I'm shorting the 618 or 786. So we can anticipate that this would happen at that important level. That's why they call it a key level for a reason, right? So now it's important. We're watching here. This is where, so we're back below the opening print, which again, I wouldn't want to see us close through it. So this is important. Watching the 1 minute, do we get closure through it? If we do get closure through it, then it becomes a possibility that sellers may end up taking control. So we have to wait and see. But look, we can already see on the Renko chart, we're getting reversal up. Now we just need to see if we can get that closure through back above. The moving average traders are trying to buy the moving average here, so that's cool. Let them buy the moving average. Supports our thesis for higher. To see if these offers are still there. They may have removed it. Let's see. Oh, they're still present. They're still present. So that green candle closed back above. It swept the 30-minute and then closed up. But we need to see a reclaim of 425s. That will get us back into bullish auction structure. I'm getting a prime short here on the Renko charts. So this could mean we do get a little deep pullback here to 75. But if it fails, then we're good. I was not trying to sit in this trade for this long. I was trying to be done by 11:30, but yeah, if we get closure through, which we just did, I would want to see reclaim. I need to see a reclaim of that 410 open price sooner than later for this 11:30 candle to remain in control by buyers. This could be a potential add, by the way. And then maybe we get anticipation of speed and acceleration through the highs. Waiting to see. Reloaded again. Buyers need to step back in here. I'm going to go ahead and scale in, add more contracts on that reclaim. Let's see if they can stay above the opening print. By the way, my stops are break even, so that doesn't really matter for me. Let's see. Can we get back through IB high? So we added that contract on the potential reclaim of for the opening print. So we'll see if we can accept above the opening print now, right? 4225. We need buyers to accept back above 425 for this to do its thing. Rejected again, huh? Ooh. All good. All good. So unfortunately, I added in and my break even just got tagged on that. So what can you do? It doesn't mean the idea is dead, but now I'm just gonna need to either wait for re-entry or see they just swept that stop right there and there it goes. Maybe I should have used kept my stop open. Oh man, that's how it goes. But you don't want to chase. We don't want to be chasers. I mean, I do like that they reclaimed that opening print. That would be that could be the re-entry, but I don't know. Stop here. Yeah, it's okay. You could do it. It is okay. You could even use a tighter stop below the opening print right there. But I'm probably not going to take this. Watching here. We're playing with that level, man. That was the second attempt there for the sellers. That could have. Okay. We can try one last time there. And let's see if you're gonna. Hmm. These guys are doing a good job trapping people here, huh? New 15-minute candle just opened up. Let's see. These guys are really slow grinding through this 25 level. Let's see if we can get to our target here. Nice. Nice. They're taking out these offers. 450. Where's my 450? Right there. Let's see if we can pump through 450s. Come on. We need to accept above 425. All right, there we go. There we go. Nice. Let's take our partials. Push this thing up a little bit more. See if we can get through these highs. Hmm. Oh. Oh boy. Interesting. See, those offers are still there. Let's see if we can get to those offers. I will be taking a partial at 60, 15 points, 20 points, give or take. We can get through these highs. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, I should have took that partial already. We're already at the, high day, so I kind of don't know if I want to be sitting short at the high day unless we can aggressively trade through. So I'm just watching here. These sellers keep attempting, right? So it started right here. Sellers attempted right here, failed. Sellers attempted here, failed. But now they're trying again. So let's see. Could be another ad, to be honest. Let's see if they fail again. But they might just be making buyers too comfortable here. Yeah, I don't want to be adding this high up, unfortunately. So let's. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Renko's giving us some bullishness, so let's see what happens. Staying firm on Renko. They just flipped trend right here. Just you see how it went from pink to green? That's telling us that we've got some momentum. Well, let's see. I like this because the proper sell signals here and they failed, right? So you got a seller failure and then you got buying on top of the sell signals. When people say signals don't work, let's say you get an indicator, indicators don't work, it actually does work. When it doesn't work, it's actually telling you something. So if you can take that as feedback, so let's say you get a buy signal and it fails, well, technically that's a signal, it's a sell signal. And if you get a sell signal that fails, it's technically a buy signal. So it does work. You just got to flip it in reverse, right? So what you see on these charts here is not necessarily like signals I'm going to necessarily take every single time, but it gives me narrative. It's like, oh, buy signals. Oh, a sell signal failed. Perfect. That confirms my long. If I see a sell signal that fails, it confirms my long. And vice versa. If I see a sell signal that fails and a buy signal that succeeds, well, obviously it tells me I should probably change or rethink what my thesis is. Let's go. What are we doing? Can we just take out this freaking offer already? My goodness. Looks like they pulled one of them already. Let's see. Yeah, they pulled the higher up one. Oh, there we go. Bingo. Finally. All right. You got it. So 455 is the next target there. And then they actually lifted the offer to 500. Look at that. They canceled it and moved it up higher. So probably 500 is where they want to take it. So they just spent quite some time here. But this was actually really textbook because initially we bullish, sellers attempted here, They attempted here. This is where that last seller failed. And then you see them try again right here. And I'm using this key level as my reference for 410, right? So 410 is the auction. So we had sellers take control, buyers take back control, sellers fail to take control, buyers in full control, sellers now trying to take control of 425, buyers now in full control. 30 minutes in. Sorry, it's the 11:30 candle. We have 9 minutes left. We haven't really gotten much displacement. You know, we haven't expanded much. So it's a small 30-minute candle so far, but, you know, there's still some time. We can see what happens. So we took that target at 450. It's a little, I think we took it earlier. Okay, we don't just, like, if you see liquidity here, you probably want to take it maybe 5 points below. Because what happens is price moves to the level. A lot of times it might scare market participants if they see a really big offer, right? So there we go. Let's see. I think we can just like trail now like cleanly. So I like to trail where the sellers fail. Trail where the sellers fail. All right, we're back in the game, guys. So I re-entered on that. So my initial position, I was like up 400 ticks. I had with my last runner. I had already taken off like 95% of the position. Tried to re-enter or scale in some more. End up getting stopped out, break even on that. All right, so whatever. And then just now re-entered on the reclaim, and it worked out. So pretty cool. So you got some active participants here at 450. You can see large buyers here, 173. So all those offers there getting absorbed by buyers. They're getting taken out, but there's still this offer right here at 456. Let's see now. Let's see if they can trade through this cluster we've got. $500 is the next level of interest, and that's where I'm going to put my last runner there. So I will probably peel one off here. Let's see. Maybe not. Let's just see what happens. Or I think 500 is reasonable. We spent enough time building value around 400s. From 400s, yeah, this was a nice little 1 hour, much needed time spent, right? So it all started from this migration here. Boom, boom, boom. So more than likely, still not seeing where my PLC is. 500 matrix call wall. Let's see. That's going to be the magnet. So if we can get there, as long as we stay firm with 450s, 500 is easy. Easy peasy. Call wall. Let's go call wall. Let's refresh that real quick. Interesting. You guys are getting value from this live stream, go ahead and hit that like button. Or give me a heart or whatever it is people are supposed to do. I'm not really a streamer. Ooh, let's go. 500. They just threw some contracts there. 140 contracts at 500. It's worked out even better. Let's go. Would have been nice if I had held that original core position, but what can you do? I'm going to take one off there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you, Qubit. Let's see if we get to our call wall. Two minutes left on this 30-minute candle in the top of the hour. Bottom of the hour, sorry. Let's see. They're going to try here. 75. Sellers are trying. We got some aggressive selling coming in. About 100 contracts hit the bid. It doesn't mean that you're going to short that. No. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. A good one. Fire failure at 475s, top of the hour. Let's see. Beginning to stack some bids here at 450s. That's nice. Nice when you start stacking the bid like that. But look at that, 400 contracts at 500. Let's see if it's still there. Nope. Canceled, removed. Good. Look at that cluster. You can probably just move my stop below the cluster there. All right, 12 o'clock. Let's see what they're gonna do. 450s. Let's start all this stuff here. Let's see. Come on now. Let's reclaim that 75. And then we can just be done. Nice. Let's go. 300 contracts are added. Above 450. Here. Approaching our major resistance call wall level. Let's go. Can we just get this done? All right, let's go. I placed a bid right there. Let's see if they use that as fuel. Stacking that bid as we start approaching the offer. Let's go. Trailing tight. I'm going to take it off at 95s. Alrighty, let's go. Come on. Bingo. Oh, I still got more on there. Oh, all right, we're out. I accidentally added a short position there. Oof, to close it. All right. Mission accomplished. It's not too shabby there. Not too shabby. All right, cool. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in. You got some value from this stream. Hit the like button. If you want to learn more about our approach, tools, things that you see on the chart, check out our website, dynastytradingsystems.com. And all the stuff that you see here, you can get access to part of our collection of tools that we use to read the auction. Thanks, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow, 9:20, 9:25 a.m. East Coast time. Thank you.